We are live. Hello and welcome to the Innovators Corner. I and Shalini are here yet again to discuss ChatGPT and intellectual property. I know today both of us are in full of energy. All pumped up to discuss a very interesting topic. Welcome, Shalini.
Hi, Priggya, and hello, listeners, viewers. Yes, we are both full of energy, even though it's the end of a long day for both of us. Um, and in fact, just before this, you'll be interested to know that we were not discussing ChatGPT, but we were actually discussing music and practicing some classical music. So that could explain why we are so full of energy.
Yep.
Okay, so today's topic is something that has been buzzing around of late, ChatGPT. And we are interested in ChatGPT and its boundaries with intellectual property rights because that's what we are here to discuss. So, what
Yes.
are some of the issues, or do you want me to give opening remarks first?
So probably, yeah, you can begin with the opening remarks and then I'll tell what I did.
Okay. Um, Yes, like everyone else, I have been messing around with ChatGPT. I have multiple conversation tabs open. And the first day I interacted with ChatGPT, I told my husband, now you're only good for date nights because ChatGPT is answering all my questions and remembers every conversation thread. And I just have to pick up the conversation thread, unlike you, where I have to go back and give you the entire background again. And he doesn't complain, so it's okay. Uh, but just joking aside, we are living in exciting times,
Yes.
and Chat GPT, Dali. Have you tried Dali? It's for visual for
Yes.
images,
Photographs.
and these kind of and of course recently we had the patent that was issued by South African Patent Office to an AI. So we are living in interesting times where the boundary between human innovation, invention, creativity, and that of AI, and of course it's AI because someone has created it and someone has fed that information to it, but it's still interesting how the boundary is kind of getting fuzzy, and I don't have any more opening remarks except to say that we'll see how there's a race.
Yeah.
Humans are working on AI models, but humans are also trying to beat the AI models, but the AI is trying to beat existing human paradigms. So I am very curious to see how this will all end, probably with R2D2 type thing taking over the human race. We'll see.
And to add to it, law is chasing technology, and law is still like, oh my god, we don't know what's happening,
Yeah,
and
we are
we
like,
need to
what,
frame
what,
law.
what? We don't know. Wait, who's playing who? What? That's law for you.
Today the day was so amazing for me because I experimented a few AI models. I experimented a software named Video, and I was like, oh my god, what kind of video is this generating? I don't need a team now. We can do it all by myself. Then there is copy.ai. I don't know what copyrights will feel after using that. Then we have so many softwares coming up, and the technology is just on the boom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's very exciting as well as it's very scary, and it
Yeah.
raises a lot of questions because I, for one, want to know. Um, I know that we are stepping on a legal minefield. We are there with the
Hmm.
bombs all around, and something is going to burst at some point. We just have
Yeah.
to be careful where we are. What has been your experience with Chat GPT
So, like I
till
told you,
date?
what I was just doing. So, I experimented with ChatGPT a lot, and before just starting this conversation, I sent a chat message to chat gbt. What are intellectual property issues associated with chat gbt? I said we are going to talk about this topic. Let's ask what
Yeah.
ChatGPT has to say. And to my surprise, ChatGPT actually told me about what are the intellectual property issues involved with ChatGPT, and I was amazed because I think I don't know, but ChatGPT also acknowledges some. There was a LinkedIn post recently of one of the dear friends, and he asked ChatGPT about, "Can you draft a patent for me on this and this topic?" To that, ChatGPT did whatever it did, but it wrote that it has to be reviewed by a legal person who is a patent attorney and who knows what kind of work they are doing, because I am not trained to draft legal documents. So I was very surprised that chat gpt could give this answer, that it is also acknowledging the fact that okay, legal documents is something which I am not supposed to do. Then, when today I asked him what are the intellectual property issues involved with it, it gave me a list of issues involved with which some of them we might be discussing today as well. But again, those issues were the real issues what we are going to face. So sometimes I think it's a complicated some situation. Sometimes I feel that okay, chat gpt is giving me right answers, but then I feel no, chat gpt, you're not performing up to the mark. So I think
You
it's
are
two and two.
expecting, yeah, I know. I asked ChatGPT just for, I've been asking it, giving it, assigning it various legal tasks. I asked it to draft me a contract, and the straight answer I got was, I am not qualified to draft the contract. You have to approach a lawyer. Um, I tried to do a prior art search for a patent document. Of course, I had already done the prior art search, so I knew exactly what I was looking for. But when I gave in the keywords, it gave me, so it was quite impressive. It gave me some six, seven patents, but with proper US patent number and a title and an abstract. But when I went and searched on USPTO, those numbers and title did not match the. It was for a totally different patent, different technology, absolutely. So it
Yeah.
didn't match. There was no overlap. Um, so I kind of felt a little vindicated and happy that my job is okay. Um, but on the other hand, okay. So I also did this as a research scholar. I asked it to write me a paper on something, on a patent related issue, and it didn't. It just gave
Yeah.
me what a paper should contain and said, this is what a paper should contain. I also then asked specific questions to write the research paper. And what I felt, I realized at the end of it was that the writing is extremely bland.
Hmm.
It lacks the panache that a human would write, because
Hmm.
we are a culmination of our experiences, of our education, of various people who,
Hmm.
before the time of chat gpt, right? My teachers are not, some of them are not around anymore, and what they knew was things that they created here, and therefore when I write, I bring that,
Yeah,
and that's something that no chat gpt can equal.
absolutely. I think that is right, but I'm yet to see what I think is, Shalini, when we give very focused job, all the experiences and everything what we want to share, probably it can rewrite them very well. But
Hmm.
yeah, it cannot replicate what we want it to write.
Yeah. So what you can do with it is write something and then ask it to tidy it up.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
was playing around with it where I had already submitted an article and it's published. But what I did was I gave a raw format of the article and asked ChatGPT to clean it up and
Hmm.
make it manuscript style.
Yeah.
So it did that, and I was happy with the result. But of course, it's too late because my article is already published. But tell me, apart from, of course, singing praises of Chat GPT, what are the problems that are lurking there?
A lot of them. Because you and I are attorneys and we know that it's not easy, especially the ownership part of it is not easy. If ChatGPT infringes on somebody else's copyrights, patents, or design, it's not easy. We cannot just, let it go because it's a software.
Yes.
No, someone has developed that software. If infringement is happening on that platform, it needs to be taken care of.
Yes.
Even Shalini, I feel the training data we are providing chat GPT, that would be a subject matter of copyright. Like all the training data has been developed by somebody who has the right, who has taken a authorization from people for using this data for the purpose of training somebody, an AI. So I think a lot of these data privacy issues, security issues, IP ownership issues, contracts, a lot of, in legal domain, a lot of chaos position is there where people want answers, and currently the law is not developed to the extent that it can address answers related to this.
So, do you remember a few years ago there was a case where a copyright issue where a monkey took a selfie, and they wanted PETA wanted the monkey to have the copyright
Correct.
for the selfie. So in that case, it was, the crux of the issue was, how can someone who is non-human own an IP? Because the whole point of IP is it's an asset, and just like you would not expect a monkey to own real estate or a car, you would not what is a monkey going to do with money? Money is
Correct.
a human creation. And my question then is the same with AI and intellectual property that belongs to AI. Is what is an AI going to do with a human construct?
Absolutely. Shalini, I clearly remember the line of that case law which says the law is not developed to the extent that it can give rights to non humans or to animals. So I think similarly, law is not developed to the extent, or I don't think it is developed to the extent that any non legal entity, I don't want to say the word humans. Why? Because we have corporations
Yes.
which are recognized as entities.
But
But
in the corporations also, it is a human inventor, it's a human
correct,
creator, and the
correct,
owner can be a corporation.
correct. So that's why I'm saying that law is not developed to the extent non-legal entities can have rights. Rights should be there with the legal entities, which can include corporations, natural person, partnership firms, and things like that, body incorporate. But in terms of inventors, I think that naming one person is absolutely important. It can be a co-inventor, it can be a co-author, but there has to be a liability of at least someone who is there in the business, who is probably owner of open AI, or anybody who has stake in that business. Because at the end
Sure.
of the day, when legal issues happen, we need to have someone taking ownership of all the issues involved.
Sure, absolutely. I asked ChatGPT that do you conduct a plagiarism check
Yeah.
on your work before sharing it with me? And ChatGPT said that I'm not connected to the internet, so I don't have any means of doing a plagiarism check. Um, which leads to a different kind of question. So this is someone's intellectual property that is fed into. I don't know if it is changing words around or rephrasing it, um, but uh, but we have to be careful. Although nowadays I'm seeing articles that have this kind of footnote that that say that this text was generated in part with ChatGPT GPT-3, and upon reviewing the draft language, it was reviewed, edited, and revised, and put in a form that matches what the author wants to say, and the author takes responsibility for the content. So
Yeah,
that is the kind of footnote I'm seeing these days.
that I understand because I have also seen people writing stories using ChatGPT. Like they use ChatGPT to complete their stories. And Mitch, which is our dear friend, and he also joins us on many of the uh,
Yes,
Innovators Corner. He has written a story with ChatGPT as a co-author, and to my surprise, people are acknowledging it. Everybody is acknowledging the fact that ChatGPT is a co-author. But again, there has to be a have an ownership, because you know, a data or an article written by ChatGPT and published by XYZ person, who has the ownership if for example ChatGPT is copy pasting the data from somebody else. If we are feeding the data and probably on that ChatGPT is reviewing that data, the chances of infringement happening is very less. But when we are asking ChatGPT to give us a
generate
result,
data. Yeah,
general data result, or ChatGPT write me a post on copyright infringement, that could be an article copied from our blog post. We don't know about it.
we don't know. Correct.
Yeah. So how are we going to catch such infringements happening?
Yeah, I think at some point it is going to be connected to the internet, because otherwise it's not a sustainable model, right? Oh, I have another question. Have you tried asking ChatGPT to write a code software?
No, I haven't.
Okay, now software code is for the day-to-day tasks. Let's say adding up numbers or
Correct.
figuring out the number of vowels in a sentence. That's a very, very standard program that school children learn.
Correct.
And
Absolutely.
if I don't know programming, I can ask ChatGPT. So for
Hmm.
something that is not a boutique level software code, um, is it okay to take the code generated by ChatGPT?
I think everything is okay. It's okay to use ChatGPT in whichever manner we are using. The problem only lies who is taking the ownership of it.
Yeah,
Like,
well, let's say I start a freelance software consultancy business on the side, web developer, and let's say I get my programs from ChatGPT and I give it to my clients, new clients. How does and then I mean, who's going to ask for ownership? The client obviously thinks that I'm smart enough to have written it myself. I'm taking it from ChatGPT, and I'm smart enough to know what is going to work, what's not going to work.
correct.
So where is the question of ownership in this?
So,
Who's going to come
Shalini,
and check?
that's what I'm saying. Whenever we have contracts like this, we speak a lot about, trade secret management, IP management, and things like that. So whenever freelancing, suppose, and I'm emphasizing on freelancing agreements. Why? Because people sign them blindly without knowing whatever is written on them, and after 1 year or 2 years they'll come up and, oh my god, what's happening here. So in those agreements, the IP clauses have to be very, very strict. They have to be taken seriously. And even if the coder is using that code, it's all right. But the coder should take ownership that tomorrow, if infringement happens, then no coder is liable for it. For example,
Hmm.
we can speak about larger companies. We have a manufacturer, then we have probably a supplier, and then we have an end user. For example, the user feels some problem with something, the supplier is going to be liable, the manufacturer is going to be liable. And for example, that manufacturer has taken a design element or a code from this freelancer. It's a whole chain in which IP has to be managed.
Absolutely.
So we need to have the contracts very very stricter in terms of IP management, trade secret management, and everything related to data privacy.
Absolutely. We have to start including that now in the contract. I think the standard form of contract should include that. And, in fact, in a PhD dissertation, you have to give an undertaking. I think now coming up, this should also be a part of the undertaking. And even when you're submitting a paper for publication, or you are submitting any kind of deliverables to clients, um, text and that involve any kind of data, you have to have this undertaking. And contracts should start including the penalty for using,
Yeah.
right? Because I think now, given that ChatGPT throws up code and poems and sonnets, somebody had written asked ChatGPT to write a sonnet, or not a sonnet, a poem in the form of "To Be or Not to Be" by Hamlet, but for patent drafting. And I don't remember what it is now, but it was quite funny, and I was quite amused and impressed.
I've
So
seen
I
link similar. Oh, sorry, I'm cutting you. But on similar grounds, I've seen people writing songs on LinkedIn for themselves, like a friend writing to another friend using chat. I asked ChatGPT to write a song for Shalini. So,
well, I wouldn't mind someone writing me a song on ChatGPT.
yeah, okay, I'll do that.
So I think this is a very exciting time, but we should start including penalties for
Yeah,
using material directly from OpenAI. I think that should be there in the contract.
yeah, but I don't know about this because I think if we are using it for the purpose of eh, generating information, it's all right. But if we are copy pasting stuff without using any of our brains, then it's not all right. Or
Yes.
probably OpenAI should, for me, they should take ownership of whatever text they are delivering to people that is infringement free. Or the
But
person using that text should take ownership. Any of the two can take.
mm, I don't know if OpenAI will uh,
They won't.
take the onus. I In my opinion, the onus is on the person who is using that text.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, yes, and really think that employment contracts, or at least freelance contracts, um, uh, vendor contracts, wherever there is some kind of deliverable in terms of soft copy, there has to be an undertaking and liability
Correct.
and
Undertake.
penalty.
Correct. That has to be there. Some kind
So,
of management,
what happens with now universities, right? They
like
have to, huh?
professors don't know whether homework is done by students or chat GPT.
Exactly. How do we know? I mean, yes, you can know, but
I wish I
it's too
had
much,
it
too
in
much
my
trouble, too much trouble to go and check. And also, I would like to know if you and I, sitting in different corners of the earth, put forth the same question, are we going to get the exact same answer?
I
Because if we get
don't
the exact same answer, then we know that we can catch plagiarism.
I don't know, and I don't think so because every time I experimented something like, well, very very generic. For example, ChatGPT write me a good post on copyright. So it will give me one post. Then write me another post on copyright. So it will give another post. So they are not same. But I was thinking, see, those are not usable. The content is not usable. But in case the content in near future becomes usable, all of the people would be posting same things on social media.
Right. So if we have 10 people who are personal branding experts and they all ask ChatGPT to write a post on personal branding, importance of personal. Actually, if you're near a computer, let's do this experiment right now.
Yeah.
Let's
Oh,
open up a window and ask the exact same question.
what should I write?
Um, it has to be something that's
Write me. Hello?
write me a poem on something. Then let's see if we get the exact same poem.
Write me a poem on innovation.
Okay. Exactly those words, right? Write me a poem on innovation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you write?
A connection timed out. Okay. Ah, we're experiencing exceptionally high demand.
Refresh it once and it will work. I just wrote a poem on innovation. I'll post it somewhere.
Okay, I'm getting a poem.
What is the first line?
Innovation, a spark of creativity.
Oh, I have innovation, a spark of mind.
A spark of
Mind.
might,
Mind.
mind, a force that drives us to achieve a new way of thinking, a brilliant idea, a solution to problems brought to life with care.
Oh, we got different poems. So for me, it's innovation, a spark of the mind, a creation that's truly one of a kind. Breaking through barriers, defying all norms, bringing new ideas to solve old problems and more.
Hmm.
Write this question again. Write me a poem on innovation. I hope it gives me same poem. Every time it's giving a new poem.
Yes, innovation, a brilliant ray of light, breaking through the darkness of the night. A new way of thinking, a creative mind, bringing solutions of a different kind. Isn't this similar to what you got?
Yeah, the words are similar, but it's not exactly the same.
From dreams to reality, it takes a leap of faith, a push beyond limits with courage and grace. It starts with an idea, a spark in the heart, a journey that leads us a brand new start. I have quite a few lines that are similar in the first one, leap of faith and courage and grace and flicker of the mind and
And it says for
a
you
gift
also
to
it says
mankind.
something.
Is the last paragraph a gift to all mankind or a gift to the world? Innovation, a gift to the world. Innovation, a gift to all mankind. A way to make a difference, a story untold.
For me, it's different. To my surprise, so you also had something about dreams. It for me it says so. Let's keep on dreaming and let our ideas soar. For in this world of ours, there is so much more in store. With
Okay.
every new invention, the future takes shape, and the possibilities of innovation we will always escape.
Okay. So then that means that it becomes difficult to judge infringement, plagiarism.
Infringement. But to how many times if I give it 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 times to write poem on innovation, it won't repeat.
Should repeat at some point.
Write me a poem on innovation.
Write me a poem. I asked you to write me a poem on Shalini Menezes. It's writing me a poem about me.
Oh, Shalini, it's given me the same line as of yours. The world of progress, a world that's kind. It takes the old and makes it new. The world of endless possibilities. It's true. I think you were telling something like this. Mhm.
It brings hope, it brings joy, it brings light to the dark, an endless pursuit, a never ending spark, and then spark, journey that leads us. Yeah, I mean, the theme is that's what it sounds very, very
Similar.
similar, but not.
Like
Anyway,
in all three poems, it has used the word spark, but at
spark,
different places.
faith,
Yeah.
spark, faith, future, progress, power, gift, dream. It
It's
brings hope, it brings joy, it brings life to the
it
dead.
has not using the word transforming dreams into realities and flashes. Then it's so let's keep on dreaming and let's let the idea. So
Okay.
I was just using control F to figure out.
What I like is I like the poem it's written about me. I think I'm going to go every day to ChatGPT and ask it to write something about me to make me feel good about myself.
Yeah, today I was telling my colleague that I love ChatGPT. It understands what I say. You people are not able to understand. I ask you so many times to write this. You are not able to write.
Yeah, I had a similar conversation, so I know what you mean. But
So
anyway, ultimately, I think we're going to come back for the human connection.
yeah, absolutely.
The handcrafted messages, handwritten letters, cards, handcrafted words, stories, poems, essays. I mean, however much you train ChatGPT, it's going to be a shadow of Shakespeare.
I know. And Shalini, to add to this, I had a word with Andy. He's one of the world's very renowned person in branding. You know what he said? He said human touch is and humanizing whatever we are using for the purpose of marketing and branding is absolutely important. He said no matter what all AI is developed, no matter whatever developed, the person who is going to buy stuff would be a human. And if that is a human, he wants a human connection before buying something. So even if we are developing AI, that those AI should be humanized. If they feel the connection is not there, the person is not going to buy stuff. So humanizing everything is. And I was of the same opinion, and today morning only I told my not today evening I told my colleague, we were working together after working with a lot of AI softwares, because today we plan to use them all and check out what's happening, and we got so many surprises in one day. And I was like, okay, I'm going to mountains without any technology because I can't bear all this.
Absolutely. I'm going to take February off from posting content on LinkedIn just because I'm so overwhelmed with content creation and the constant pressure. So I'm just taking off. I'll be there. I'll be for the LinkedIn live. I'll be lurking, but I'm not going to post anything unless I feel the inspiration. But otherwise, I'm going to be busy with some other stuff. So yeah, I need that technology break.
And I think we are living, like for me, the emotions are also mixed. Okay, on one end it's making my life easier, but on the another end it's making my life a lot too difficult. And especially with our clients, because we are in the field of IP and we need to advise people accordingly whatever comes up in front of us. And it's not easy, it's not black and white, it's always gray.
That's
And
true.
it's I was saying, if things would have been so simple, my life would have been black and white, but it's colorful.
It is colorful. It is colorful. And I think we'll come back to this topic
Yeah.
as ChatGPT goes through its own cycle of evolution. I think we'll come back to this topic again,
Yeah, absolutely.
because there will be cases, there will be litigation, there will be instances where all the things that we have mentioned can go wrong will actually happen, and then we'll have a precedence for what was decided. So I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll come back and revisit this topic again.
Till then, I think everybody should keep experimenting with ChatGPT and use it, make it useful. Don't misuse it.
Yes, absolutely. And look
So,
how much fun we are having. It's
yeah. I'll say hi to Gillies and I'll say hi to Dr.
Gilles. Is that Gilles? I can't see.
And Rajni ma'am is also here. Oh, Shalini dropped off. I think it is by mistake. So thank you everybody for joining today's chat GBT session, and probably I and Shalini will keep experimenting with it and we'll share the updates with you in upcoming sessions. Bye bye. Take care. See you next Tuesday.